Hi, loves. Welcome to LoveYounity, our podcast and our YouTube show. We certainly appreciate you guys being here with us as we are, I am Hart and my co-host Beverly. We are here today and we are with our beautiful friend Janene. And so we are here to share a little piece of our soul with you guys today, put a little love on you, and we hope you guys enjoy the ride because it's going to be fun.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, so Beverly and I both have met Janene on Facebook, which awesome platform, like you guys know. And we have just had this instant connection with her. She is an absolutely beautiful soul who has many gifts and lots of things that she shares so openly with us. And we, appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts, honestly. And so we just want to, share her with you guys today too, and whatever, we all feel called to kind of contribute today. So Janene, how's your day going?
Oh, it's great. Spending time with you guys. I am so excited. It's such an honor to be here with both of you. I love what you're doing on your LoveYounity page.
Thank you.
Beautiful. The openness, the writing. You guys had your cafe. How did that go last night? The cafe, didn't you
it
have a
went
bunch of people jump on?
Yeah.
Did it? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't attend. But yeah, you guys are mowing and going. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So yeah, it's such an honor to be here with both of you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
It's our honor too. We're so privileged to have you here, and we're just so excited to hear about your story and whatever you feel resonates with you to share about your work, because your work is so beautiful and we feel a really deep connection to your work. It's helped me and Hart as well, I believe, to connect even deeper to my soul. And sometimes it's difficult to put into words and express what we're feeling, and I feel that you do that so eloquently and so vulnerably and so lovingly that it just opens my heart every time that I read it, because I'm like, oh my God, she's writing about me. This is my story.
Yes, it's a lot of our stories.
Yes.
It's interesting for as long as I can remember. I was somebody very shut down, very closed. Wouldn't want to share any of my personal information. And now Soul has given me the beautiful job of bearing it all for everybody. And so at first it was very it was scary. It was very scary to put all of that out there. And now I couldn't do anything but be transparent and raw about what it's like to go through ascension, what it's like to have PTSD and get up every morning and do whatever it is that needs to be done. But the ascension process, what everybody's going through, it's what I call brutally beautiful. We have that rawness, but we also incorporate bliss from time to time. But it's hard. It's hard. We go through our deepest of the deep. And it feels like the more transparent that we are with each other, the more we can feel shoulder to shoulder, because we can, it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm fine. Everything's going good. I'm in bliss. Use all these positive words, don't say this, don't say that, don't feel this, get into a higher vibration. That worked for a while, but that's over. That's over. Now it's time to get real. Yeah. And not that we get real and we stay in the depths of that anguish or that loneliness or the sadness, whatever it is, those feelings. We figure out everybody's individual piece on how to self-soothe, how to comfort. And so that's one of my gifts. I went through an awakening. Well, of course, we've all been through several, but a brutal one where you just end up, on the floor. One of those huge surrenders. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Let's do this. And I've known for a long time that I had a fairly big mission. And I'm like, all right, if you want me to do this work, you're going to have to help me figure out how to live, how to want to stay on this planet.
Yeah.
And I just bawled and pounded my fists on the ground. And I'm like, if you want me to do this, then you're going to have to show me a way to survive. And so within no time, I started easily receiving messages from my soul. And started receiving ways to self-soothe, because I grew up starting at the age of 3 with extreme trauma related to a church. And so my my pain, you know, deep and wide and old. I'm 56, so I've, you know, carted it around quite a while. And so what they had me do, of course, was use sound, and I had already been using sound to self-soothe, but it needed to go deeper. I needed to get out of the realms up here, which is so comfortable, and drop straight down into the body and down into deeper work with the inner child. And so what that meant was I would have to start touching the body. I'd have to start patting the heart. I'd have to start talking to that little girl. And so I started doing that. And one day, another guide came in and said, Janene, when you're talking to the baby, we want you to do it this way. They're like, now listen to the difference in our voice. And I said, okay. So they chose a sentence, everything's going to be okay. And I said, okay. So they said, okay, now feel this in your body. Everything's going to be okay. I said, okay. They said, drop it down. I said, everything's going to be okay. They said, keep going. And I said, everything's going to be okay. And they said, there you go. We drop into soul. They're like, now pat the heart. Keep talking. I said, okay. I said, it's all right. Mama's right here. And you feel that. You feel that presence of who you are drop into the depth of the inner child. That began to unravel so much pain and bring both of us the safety of being with one another. You know, it's scary as hell to think of having a relationship with an inner child that, to me, all she was a crying mess. You know, that's how I look at it. Oh, I don't want to do that work. She scares the bejesus out of me. But little did I know she would become my guru, you know, my little entertainer. My daughter, actually. And so I've spent hours and hours soothing her and doing work. And then she'll come and she'll soothe me. She'll come cuddle up and be like, it's okay, Mama. I'm right here. We're going to get through this together. And you team up in service. In service, you team up with that inner child that we've all shunned, that our caretakers shun, a lot of us. And who knew they were the magic? Yes. Is that a long question, or
that? I can so relate with that. Is it okay I say something like that?
I want to know.
I can so relate with that. It is just unbelievable, the inner child work, because we've lost heart. Okay, she'll get back on. Well, I had really big pain as well from the age of 4, and my inner child was abandoned by me.
Okay.
And you know, shut down, not allowed to grow. So there was also this innocence about it, but there was also this me not growing up because I wasn't whole. I wasn't having the inner child with me. So I would get, as a grown woman, I would get into tantrums about things, and I'm like, why am I reacting like this? This is crazy. Yeah, you know, or crying over nothing, you know, because you don't get your own way, sort of thing. It was crazy, and I just couldn't understand, you know, what it was until I started reading about this inner child and I started working on it, and I experienced it like you. But for me, it was, I had to rub my belly. Yes, because that was where all my abuse, like childhood abuse, had taken place. So it had to start at the root. And then it worked its way up to the heart.
Okay,
But it took a long time and a lot of work, and it's painful.
It is painful.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's where that term that you used earlier, brutally beautiful, describes it perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, those two words typically don't go together. And so when you place them like that, you're like, what exactly does she mean by that? But once, you know, you put it into this realm, you can see exactly what you're describing. And that those two simple terms, it's something else. It's a journey.
It is.
You know, I actually just started working with my inner child within the last month or two. I hadn't even heard of it until just recently. And I'm like, this makes total sense, you know? And I mean, you hold on to things from when you're a young child, when, you know, parents or adults are trying to direct you in the right way, but they're being brutal and not beautiful about it.
And they're doing their best. They're doing their best. They're not connected with themselves. And so we have generations of disconnection. Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing that work, Heart. That's amazing, both of you. It's, for me, it's the golden key to every success. I started doing that work before I started doing that work. Let's see. I was caught up in always forcing this high vibration because I thought, well, if I don't do that, I can't imagine what could happen to me. So I was always forcing this high vibration, doing my vision boards, doing, I would say these little mantras, not singing, but things on abundance and things on that really didn't matter to the inner child, actually, because she's out there floundering in a storm, you know, and I'm worried about, oh, I like this house. I really could use this car. I could really use some more money in my bank account. And she's like, I don't give a shit. You know? I need to be seen and heard. I want to be loved. You do these things, everything else just opens up. She opens the doors. It's like, oh, okay, you want more work opportunity? There you go. There you go. More money to flow in? Here it is. Because we're building a solid foundation. We're not starting with me and all of my worldly trappings and all of my distorted beliefs and doing a vision, you know, a vision board. I wasn't connected with who I was. I was not soulfully connected. Now, because of the connection with her, I can hear in every moment what it is that I need to do. I can hear soul or higher self. And for me, the deeper work that I do with her, and I can't even call it work, really.
No.
She's too fun, you know.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of the older stuff much anymore. That's very painful because we've done a lot. But yeah, I lost my whole train of thought. But it was gonna probably be the best thing I said all day, and now I've completely lost.
We may keep playing with you now.
You may not. Yeah. I don't remember. I started thinking about her. Oh, what was it? Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll let it go. Probably talking about manifesting. Oh, yeah, and being thinking I need to be in this high vibration.
Yeah.
And then her, letting me know that it's in the realness, it's in feeling all of that and that connection with her that opened up the connection and the ability to hear soul or to hear a higher self.
Yeah.
For me, when it comes to the higher self, you look at the YouTube channel that I started almost a year ago, I believe. Yeah. And so to even do that, I would have to channel and open up to a higher self where words could flow through me, sound flow through. Because of doing the work, and we're always constantly, consciously on our path, we embody higher self after higher self after higher self. Now it's going to the piano and just put my hands on the keys and opening my mouth. because it's there, you know, it's right there. We don't have to reach out or reach in and do that. It's amazing. But for me, it's because of my baby, you know, it's because of loving up on my baby and allowing her to hear the words that I long to hear, all of us long to hear growing up. You crave that. And then you begin to punish yourself for wanting to hear those words and punish yourself for wanting to be seen and heard. It's like, oh no, you want to be seen and heard, let it rip and roar. Let it, you know.
Oh yeah.
Something, but,
oh my goodness, thank you for saying that. That's really beautiful. And I think a lot of us have been through that, where we have been hiding and not allowing ourselves to be seen and heard. There's a lot of fear attached to that. A lot of fear of not being good enough, not being worthy, being ridiculed, you know, all those different things that go through our mind that, you know, if you can't go out and talk about soul, you can't go out and talk about ascension, you can't go out and talk about healing, you can't go out and speak light language, you can't do that. It's just not normal, you know. So we held back for so long, right? And then all of a sudden the time is just right. And you've done the work and it's just beautiful. You're just there. I don't know how other way to say it. You're just there.
Yeah.
And you don't even know that you're there, but you're there.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh, and then you can't do anything but share or but be seen and heard, because that's what finally feels natural again. Broken through all of those needing to hide or needing to be the same as 14 million other people. And we take pride in our uniqueness and our individual gifts. It's every one of those puzzle pieces that we all need to put together. Not one of us higher than the other, not one of us deeper than the other. Every individual piece, so important.
It is. And I heard it worded the other day, like, you know, when you are a child, you have to live under the constructs of someone else. Like, it's their job to direct you. And then there's a certain point in your life where you have to make your own constructs. And it's nerve-wracking, because you've been told for so long that this is what you should do. And for a long time, I don't know about you guys, but I was taught, you know, that children should be seen and not heard. And, you know, you can't say those sort of things. You can't do that. And so to embody what I really want to come out of my mouth and let other people hear me say has been so freeing. You know, it's like, I don't give a shit what you want to hear me say. I'm going to say what feels good to me. And you can't punish me. You can't make me. You can't do anything.
It's
I love that.
Me too. It's so good, so good. You know, like we've adopted a bullshit detector, right? Because I'm just not putting up with any crap anymore from anyone. I love everybody. I love everybody. But if you mess with my shit, you're out. And I never used to be like that. I never used to stand up for myself. I never used to say no. I used to be the total classical pleaser, right?
Yeah, same.
And as soon as you've landed, like there where you don't know where you are, but you're there, something happens and you just like power through. I can't. You're just empowered. You're liberated. You just don't care anymore. You just want to be who you are. Yeah.
No other choice but to be who. And so for me, because I was not someone that liked confrontation or set boundaries easily. I was definitely a pleaser. And what happened with me, I would come against a situation that was uncomfortable, and I was like, soul would speak through me and say, I'm like, well, who said that? That was good, with good tone too. And people would be like, oh yeah, no. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? So not even me consciously thinking, oh, well, here's what I'm going to say. It was like it would come through me before I started getting the courage to allow myself to be me. And set those boundaries. But that was hard. It was very hard.
Very hard. And it takes a long time. I still sometimes, I had a confrontation today and I still get like that churning in my stomach, you know, but I know that how I reacted and how I was in that situation was sovereign to me. So I couldn't have been any other way. I had to call him out on the crap, and I did it in the nicest way I possibly could. But still, I was like, oh. But I get over it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
I talk to heart, and then it helps.
Well, of course. Oh, and isn't it interesting to feel it consciously speak instead of just allowing stuff to fly out? I kind of was before. To consciously be in that moment and to breathe and be like, okay, you just said that. Let me take about 9 breaths here. That rattled me a little bit. Yeah. I've been in situations where my voice will tremble and my body tremble, trying to get out what I want to say, because it's such old distortion that we've carried for generations. Excuse me. That we're all like, all right, we'll be the ones, we'll undo it. We'll free you all by being free with ourselves.
Yeah. The wounded healer, right? We've all been
Definitely.
there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice to be here with you.
It's the next best thing to meeting you personally, right? The next best.
But eventually I'm gonna have to squeeze you 2 up. Yeah.
I'm so into that.
We've got to sit around a piano and do some singing.
Oh yeah.
The way I grew up, my folks are from Oklahoma. We call it singing, with an A. Singing. We got to do some singing. I'm like, yeah. But that'll be sweet.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow. So how long have you been on your ascension path, both of you, consciously?
Mine's actually been going on all my life.
But you've had awareness.
But like you said, I've had like really abrupt awakenings on the journey. But as a child, my father died when I was 4, and something happened there. I was like, I don't know, everything exploded. And I used to play with fairies.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
Yeah. So I was very conscious of the other realms at an early age, and I used to go around putting my hand on people because I could feel their pain. So I've always been the healer.
Yeah.
So I was aware as a child that I wasn't normal like everybody else.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I shut it down a bit in my teenage years because I just wanted to fit in and have a normal life and be with friends, because I didn't have very many friends when I was young. They didn't get me, which is fair enough. That was the way it was for a lot of us, right?
Yeah.
But then when I gave birth to my first son, everything came up to be confronted and to be looked at. And I went into deep depression and lost myself in that process, but got through it. So that's when it really started, like consciously. Okay, what's going on here? Wow. All these things are coming up, to look at. So you need to look at them. Yeah.
Yeah, and it forces. It's like, would you like to survive? Well, I kind of would. Well, then you have to look at it and feel it. Yeah, there's no setting it aside.
No, and the responsibility of also being a new mother with a baby and knowing that you have to get through it, right? Because it's not just your life anymore. There's a child that needs taken care of and loving, and So I had to be confronted because my life, my childhood life and adult life, and to that point was totally conditioned love. So I had to learn in that moment unconditional love, and that was my journey. That's when it started, and my child taught me so much about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That is amazing. That's beautiful.
What about for you, Heart?
I started consciously probably in 2015. I was in a really toxic relationship. and I felt like I was physically dying.
Oh yeah.
I was ill constantly, and just realized this is only happening because I'm allowing it, and I'm allowing it because I'm broken. So we've got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I really, started to awaken and see, that the old pathways that I had been taught to deal with things were crap, and they were not servicing me at all.
Yeah.
So being able to, rediscover myself and, gain strength from that. And I've really, really been truly focusing, on myself and being able to concentrate more, or open up more within this last year has been tremendous.
Have you had those days where you wake up and your body is like, yeah, we're not going to move today because of integrating or the Schumann's high, or we've got solar winds. It's like, and you just feel like this raw, I don't know what. It's like, oh, shoot, I had a long list of things to do today, and now my body says it's not going to participate. Yeah. Quite the journey.
Yeah, total shutdown.
Maybe, I was going to say, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe a little bit longer than a year, because last summer I positively couldn't hardly function, in the normal realm of life. It just was not a thing. And, I have 6 children, so it was kind of a challenge for all of us here.
I can't imagine. Wow, you're a superhero.
Yes, she is. Oh, she is, I tell you.
Yeah, no, my kids were like, so what are we going to eat? And I was like, well, probably something super simple. I gotta lay back down.
Mama's gonna rest a piece. Yeah.
That's right. But I feel like that whole summer was a preparation for this, this year, and being able to, be this new me that I am now, and like I was resting up. So
that's beautiful. Yeah, so you understand the brutal, beautiful, the simple sides.
And we still go through it, right? Even though I've been in this journey for so many years. I mean, I'm vulnerable. I still have days where I can't function. I still cry myself to sleep at night sometimes. And then I have days where I'm totally flying around, and it can be switched from one day to the next. It's wow, what's going on?
That's me. That's me. And you're like, Soul, please just line it up to where when I have to perform or beyond that I'm on, I'll cry all day tomorrow or yesterday. But let me be on, because I've got an interview to do, or I have a performance to do. Yeah. Totally. Exactly. Last Sunday I performed it. I work as a music director at Unity of Olympia. The Reverend spoke a beautiful message, and she took it deep. And the work that I do is I love to go deep. I love empowerment. That's fun and piece of cake. But going deep is where I like to be. Yeah. And so she took it even deeper than usual. I'm like, well, let's just open up even more and take it as deep as we can. Mm. And the community, they're very willing and open. And so we just took it to a place it had not been since I had been there.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I stand up from the piano after the service is over, and I'm trembling. My whole body is trembling. And I'm like, okay, I've got to get from here to my car. And I had family visiting. And I'm like, I've got to get, because I know what has to happen. I have to allow myself to explode and cry. Yeah. And I need to be in my car, or need to be in my room, and allow all of that to come up, because it's like I automatically pick up those unspent tears, that other people are holding in, which a lot of them allow themselves to cry during service. Yeah. And so I pick all of that up, plus the depth of where I'm at in order to serve at that capacity, all of that combined. And I realized, okay, something's not quite right. I need to ground more. I need to do things differently, because this shouldn't, because for hours, the rest of the day, I was spent, had company from out of town, but with my sisters. And I was in my room, crying for hours, because, and there's not one issue that's wrong. Everything in my life right now is, knock on whatever you want to knock on, is fine. So there's not a thought that's circulating. Nothing is upsetting me. It's just getting that raw emotion out, and those old, whatever it was that I rattled, it came out. Something. I'm like, I can't keep doing bigger and bigger events, and I'd be like, have to be carted out on a stretcher. Something's got to give.
Yeah, something's got to give.
So I'm figuring out what I haven't known, which is to do deeper grounding and how to self-protect and all those things. A little late in the game, but better late than never.
Right. Sometimes you forget, right? You're so in the moment,
I'm all caught up in what song I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
I love it.
It's a learning curve. Every morning I wake up, it's a learning curve. It's like, what do you want me to do today?
Exactly what we're gonna experience today.
Buckle up.
How beautiful that you guys have a space that you can come together and do that. Like I've never participated in anything, on a mass type of scale like that. I don't know if we have anything in the Houston area of that nature, but that's beautiful.
Yeah. You do have a very big community in Houston, Unity. Because my trauma happened in a church, I was very anti-church. It scared the bejesus out of me, and so I went a year ago, this December, and did a solstice gig. I hadn't performed publicly in years and years because I had just been a mess. And when I did that gig and opened up sound healing with these folks that had asked me to sing with them for this solstice event, the minister was like, I want you here. I'm like, oh, that's so nice, but I can't. I'm like, I don't read music for one thing. And and my whole system is like, no, this is a church, right? and she was insistent. She's like, no, I really like what you're doing and I want you here. I would go home, and a couple of Saturday nights later, Soul would say, Janene, go to that church and just sit. I'm like, oh, I am. Like, Janene, go, just sit and listen. I would go and sit, and the Reverend would start speaking, and of course my heart would fling open and I would cry. And it wasn't the kind of church that I grew up with. It was very inclusive and very forward thinking, talking about metaphysical things and us being in charge of our own life, our own world, and being that source being in us being source. And I'm like, well, what in the world? So eventually I would be asked to sing again, and it has become a family like I never knew existed. I had no idea. So that little girl, to me, I call it the cosmic comedian, to be completely brutalized within a church, and now it's your job,
Yeah.
I could not be more happy. Yeah, I could not be more happy. When I was 3, I had already been hurt as a baby. And so what happened during part of that was I turned my ears off. I turned off my hearing. About 80% I couldn't hear. So I started talking funny and everything. And I remember my hearing coming back because we would go to church. The church was like 2 doors down from us. We would go to church like 3-4 times a week. So I remember an evening service, and there was this, I loved it because she was a big gal, like me. She would sit at that baby grand piano and I mean, rock that little church. And this feeling came over me, this knowing came over me that, if I was ever given the chance to be around a piano, I know I could teach myself how to play. And I knew that, And I just let it go. It was a knowing, just like, your eyes are green or your eyes are brown. And I let it go. And it would be, I think I was 8. We moved from California to Oregon. My mom's like, you guys want to go see the house we're going to rent? It happened to be a parsonage house. I love how soul works. And for those that don't know what a parsonage is, it's usually there's a church, and then behind the church there's a house. That house is like 100 years old, beautiful. Wow. And it was situated that our yard just kind of bled into a city park. So it was beautiful. There was a tennis court, but the house was old, in this small little old town. We look in the windows because she didn't have the key to go inside, and just because show me and my 2 sisters. And sitting in the dining room was this big old upright piano. I had never told anyone that I had that knowing because I didn't connect with people. So when no one was around, I would sit at that piano. And I could pick out melodies really easy, but I wanted that sound that lady, did in that church. I wanted that big sound. So one night I go to sleep, and in my dream, there's someone, I'm on stage, and there's someone standing behind me, and they're like, Janene, put your fingers like this. Every other one, put your thumb here, and then every other one, and then play that. I'm like, okay, I did that, and I heard that fuller sound. I wake up, and I go downstairs, lift up that lid, put my fingers on the piano like I was just instructed, and sure enough, that was the beginning of me teaching myself. So it came in a dream. My soul was like, okay. I couldn't learn traditional piano playing. There was so much that was missing in my brain and in my ability to cope and to listen and do that was just flat out not accessible. So it had to be done through me. So every bit of piano that I know how to do has come through me. Do you know we have the ability I'll give you an example. I'll sit at the piano, and we have the ability to call in our own gifts from other aspects of our soul. So what we do is I would sit there and be like, okay, in this moment, I call forward the piano players, those aspects of me that play the piano, and can play like crazy. Come on down. I call forward those aspects of me that are songwriters and that are singers. I want to have my ability increased in this moment right now. And it would happen. It would happen. So I just open up, because that's me. That's all me. That's the soul. We are the soul. So we can call it forward. We have the ability. I would be like, by the power and the authority of who I am as Janene Cummings, I call forward the piano player that is a jazz piano player. I'm ready to increase my skill. And within a few days, where my left hand would be kind of much slower than my right, not quite as easy, all of a sudden I've got these left hand riffs that I'm able to do. That's the ability that we have. That's what we can call in whatever area that you need. I call forward the ability to speak in front of people with grace and ease. I know that's in my soul because I'm a teacher, I'm a speaker. I call on that now and ask that to come more forward into my system. Yeah, we're powerful.
You are, oh my goodness. Yeah, I have to just. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm speechless.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes. How amazing.
It feels good. It feels right, in our system.
Yeah.
And it's the complete antithesis of what I knew and understood for over 50 years, because I always felt like garbage. Growing up, I was treated like garbage. And I took that on as, that must be who I am. That must be who I am. So I acted that out, and I treated myself like garbage, and I allowed myself to be treated like garbage. And so undoing all of that with the help of the inner child, because you want to get to the core of feeling like garbage. I don't start in my 50s, in my 40s, in my 30s. I go back to 3.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where did that start?
Yeah.
Now, let's remind you who you are. We undo all of that at that core level. And then you're like, oh, whoa, this is who I am. Okay.
Yeah.
And you feel that expand in real
Yeah.
time. You have those awakenings in real time.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And then it gets kind of hard to, what is the saying, where it's harder to accept our grandness than it is, because we're used to feeling like crap, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's comfortable. That's very comfortable. It's used
Yeah, it
to,
is.
but
Yeah.
we are not that. We are not that.
No.
And look at you two out there opening up and speaking. It's scary. It's scary to do that. But it becomes more and more automatic. It takes more and more of the fear out of it. Yeah.
And at the same time, but at the same time, this is like ambivalence, because at the same time that it's scary, it's exciting.
Yes,
it's joyful. It's amazing. It's liberating. It's like, oh my God, I'm shaking in my shoes, but I'm going to do this. And when you do it, yes, 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 yes.
I have to.
Yeah.
Oh.
You hit the nail on the head. You have to. You just have to. You can't. There's like this push, and I don't mean in a negative way, but like you feel this. Come on, you can. Come on, show your light.
That's right.
Rider.
That's right. It's not like they're pushing you off of the ledge; they're pushing you higher up. You know, so it's exhilarating.
Yeah,
it is.
It is. And then when you finally, if you've gone through the time of being so isolated, so alone, and then to finally begin meeting your tribe, I tell you that the alone part that's part of the brutalness.
It is.
I was taken down to no one understood me. Friends would kind of fall away, family fall away, because Soul was like, Janene, we need you to depend on and listen to and rely on Soul and the baby. There's your family, there's your team. That is what helped propel me the fastest, was having that to where I would cry for hours on end as I would transmute that old stuff within my system and only have my voice and my ability to pat. And I too have to pat the belly. It does something. The brain says, you're safe, because that's what we knew as infants when they would calm us. And so it's multi-layered.
It is.
Oh, I still do it. I'll be like, I'm having a hard time, and patting the belly or my hip or the heart. But that period of being alone, going through that's some of the hardest work we do. Doing this right here, this is enjoyable. You know, talking and speaking about our journey and all of us sharing, that's fun and that's easy. The hard work, the soldiering work, is allowing yourself to drop into that utter pain, that deepest pain of loneliness and disconnection and just abject fear. It is. I commend those people that are in that situation right now. We need you. We love you. Thank you for doing your work.
Yeah, we so love you, and we so want to hold this space of love for everybody that's going through that. And we're still going through it, so we know we can recognize it. And you know, there's a lot of people awakening right now. The new wave is coming through, and we need souls like us that have come so far need to help those that are just starting out. It's so important that we support each other, and just listening, just understanding, just sharing our journey, so they can say, oh my goodness, I understand that now.
They don't feel as crazy as we have felt.
No, they haven't. Well, maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, I'm like, I'm having a nervous, because I had a nervous breakdown back in the 90s, so I knew what that felt like. I'm like, this feels like that, but different. More in my power. It doesn't. So it can take you. It can take you down. Going through it now, as you said, we still go through those ebbs and flows. But now we have this, as I assume you do too, you have that built-in trust that this is a wave that's coming in, It'll blow through. I'll come up, I'll quit glubbing and I'll rise up out of the water. Everything's going to be okay. Just be as gentle, treat myself like a newborn baby.
I love you. 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 Yes. Yeah. And it's not as paralyzing anymore.
No.
Because we're aware of it. And that's also important, isn't it? The awareness of what you're going through. Like we know when the wave and when everything changes, the solars and the moon, and we know that now. We feel that cycle within us.
Yeah.
So we know what that means now, and there's a lot of information out there to research that if you're feeling it, if you're connected to the energies that way. So we're like, oh, okay, now I'm feeling dizzy. I've got a headache. Okay, I know what that is now. Okay, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling a really deep sadness. Okay, that's the collective sadness. It's not mine, but I've said yes to work through it, so I'll work through it for everybody and myself. And you don't get that scared.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, and we don't resist. That's
No,
what we don't
no.
I'm not feeling that. I'm going to get myself in a good vibration, a happier, lighter vibration. Oh, no. I'm like, throw myself in bed, get me a fresh box of Kleenex.
There's some chocolate.
Try this stuff out for, however long. What feels good to me to get into that, to just, I don't mind it because I'm somebody that's always liked the blues and I was comfortable probably in those feelings, but now knowing that I'm not losing my mind, I'm not going backwards, I'm not depressed, it's not a mental health issue, that this is the most beautiful work. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm crying today. Let's do this. Yes. Yeah. Because the next day, that evening, whenever, you're more expanded.
Yeah.
The gift. It always comes with a gift.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, of expansion.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, I'll do the work. You hold me to whatever fire, I'll do any of it in order to get the expansion so that I can use that expansion to serve.
Yes, exactly. That was so beautifully said. Because that is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the end, to serve.
Yeah.
Like we get these new gifts or abilities or whatever you want to call them. Soul. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm speaking so much half. Please tell me to shut up if I
don't know. Oh, we're good, she said.
It's like this unraveling of this. Oh, how can I explain it? Like there's like those Russian dolls that like go on top of each other. Yeah, it's like that inside that is your pure soul. And you can see all the layers and you can see all the gifts as you take one off at a time as you go through this, this process. And then something comes up, oh, wow, now I can heal in a different way. Oh, wow, now I can speak light language. That came through. Okay, I'm really doing this, and oh, the words that I'm speaking, they really align with my soul and what I'm feeling. Oh, wow, thank you. So that it's just that. For me,
yes,
that's how I see it. Yeah,
that's perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, and going into that next doll. Yeah, we'll just do a little more pain, Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it doesn't even really feel like pain. It feels like an honor. Like it's like, yes, I will take this.
Yeah.
Yes. Because like you said, you always know it's brighter, you're bigger, you're more expanded, you're open on the other side of it. So
I love
face
that.
it differently.
Yeah. Oh, we can give ourselves all kinds of grace going through it now, where before before I was more awakened, going through depression and anxiety, I felt like a piece of shit. It's like, oh, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. No, I'm sorry. I'm somebody. And I mean, my whole life, I've known mental health, emotional difficulty. Of course, my whole foundation was, skewed. And so, that I always felt less than. Yeah, I can't keep it together. No, I can't go and do that because right now I'm depressed, or going there brings me so much anxiety. I want to, cry. Oh, that's different. Yeah, it's so
it is
different.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is. Oh, I just want to say something about your music so I don't forget, because I do like go different places.
Okay.
You know, when I listen to your music, I can feel your soul in that music. That is so soulful. That is so heartfelt. I really hope that the people that listen to it, and we are going to share some on this broadcast for the viewers that are listening and watching, that, or at least link you up, right? That music, I can't even call it music because it's not music. It's angels coming down and working through you. I can see you. I can just see you sitting there, and this expression of divinity is just coming through you, and you can just feel it. I mean, I can't even express to you how I feel. I try to tell you all the time, but I don't think I get it.
I understand more with you saying it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've been a songwriter since I was about probably 11 maybe, and I've had that ability to sing from soul, sing from heart, sing from the depth of pain. Back then, I would write all kinds of painful, very painful songs. When I started having the awakenings regularly, I started having that ability to listen to soul. And so what would happen, I say up here, wherever you want it to be, the songs, they're higher vibrational mantras that come through, they drop in. I don't sit there and think, now what rhymes with purple? That would be, I don't ever consciously write. The music that is high vibrational for me, it drops in. It drops in finished, and it's like, here it is. I'll be driving down the road, and something will come through. So I always have my phone ready to record, and I'll just start singing. I'm like, okay, well, there's that. I'm like, I wonder what that's for. I wrote something, dropped in about 3 weeks ago, that is going to be for our service for Day of the Dead, and it has to do with I'm inviting my angels to comfort me right now, and it will come in for whatever is to be in the future or for YouTube. But yeah, it all comes from a higher vibrational place. The words that come through, the tune that comes through, the key that it's supposed to be sang in, and then where it's to come from my body, from my voice. So all of the alchemy of all of that is paired together. And what it's for is I am to be a bridge in helping people open up the heart, but to self-connect to soul. So that's what my voice is actually encoded with light codes. So the voice and all of that they bring, that's what does that.
That's what I'm feeling.
That's what makes it different than something on the radio. So it's for healing.
It is, and it is healing. It is healing.
I tell you, I've leaned on it many times myself. That might sound strange to listen to my own sound, but when I've been just in the depths of so much pain, I would have to put on something that I had recorded in a higher vibration, in the moment of a higher vibration, and bring those codes into my own system for comfort. So thank you for saying, I'm just so honored. You get me.
I get you. I so get you.
You guys. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I know I'm in total connection when I start crying. I can't stop.
Yes. I love those tears. Those are holy tears. I love to cry.
It's beautiful. So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Heart, do you have anything you want to say?
I'm just absorbing every single drop of it. I'm like, oh. This is the perfect conversation that I needed today.
Oh.
Yes.
Me sweet
too.
Soul. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
And I would love if, Janene, you would share how people can get in touch with you, how they can hear your music, see your beautiful writing as well. And I don't even want to call that writing, expression of the soul. Yeah.
So I'm on Facebook, just under Janene Cummings, Janene Cummings, and on YouTube, Divine Nurturer. That's, I probably have, I don't know, I would say there's probably over 30 videos of empowerment. So to raise your vibration when you're in that mood, in that space, or if you're really going through a hard time, it feels like a cradling. I just offer a vocal cradling with sound, with piano and teaching and mantras that have come in from soul. So yeah, we self-soothe. And you know, listening to me, that can bring comfort. But what I really find is powerful is when people allow themselves to sing along with me, because our system wants to hear our voice. You know, when I'm having a hard time, if I had my sister or a parent or a best friend or a partner come say, oh, everything's going to be okay, I'm right here, that feels great. But our system wants to hear our voice. Our voices are paired with our body. They're like snowflakes, they're unique. So our own voice is the key to our own transmutation, our own awakening, our own expansion. So we use that voice to call in whatever it is that you want, whatever change you're needing. If it's comfort or if it's empowerment, you use your own voice. It's going to be more powerful than mine. And it does not matter whether you can carry a tune or not. That voice is your key. It's very powerful.
Yeah. I feel that.
What you said, cradling, that's how I felt throughout this conversation, cradle. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm just soothed and rocking, and that's amazing. That described it perfectly.
Oh, I love that. I'm a rocker myself. Yeah, I love that. Oh, bless you, sister.
It's been amazing.
This has been one of the most heartfelt, transforming conversations I've ever had, and I just, with all my heart and soul, want to thank you so much for being our guest. It's been an utter honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. Now you've got me crying.
Well, I need you to be in solidarity, sister. Come on.
Oh, thank you both. Oh, what an experience. We're doing this again. I don't know when, but we're doing this again.
We're having you on as a weekly guest.
That's right.
We've got to figure out how to sing together, because I would love that. I would love that. It will come when it's time. But thank you. Such an honor to be on with you two beautiful lights. What an honor.
Thank you so much. And guys that are listening, go in and check out Janene Cummings' Facebook page. She has so many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful posts and links to her YouTube channel, so you can get in touch with her there as well if you want to get to know her a little better. And we will say thank you so much for a beautiful chat today with Hard and Janene and myself from LoveYounity. Thank you so much.